Clothing recycling is a multi-million-pound industry in the UK. The Salvation Army alone has nearly 6,600 recycling banks throughout the country.
We've evolved the sort of design of our clothing banks over a great number of years, and we felt that it was time for a new look for our banks, really thinking about how we get the messages of the work of the Salvation Army more clearly communicated to our donors.
Early in the year, the Salvation Army approached Central St Martin's University of the Arts to develop a new look clothing bank. Central St Martin's is one of the world's leading centres for art and design education. 3 graduate students joined in the project.
I just really care about why I do certain work as a designer, so doing a project for the Salvation Army and for a charity that does great work was really important to me. So when this came along, I really wanted to be part of it.
It's always quite nice when you do quite an aesthetic-based subject and to realise that it helps change things and, you know, for a good cause rather than just being purely aesthetic.
I was working in Argentina doing some advertising and I thought this was a great opportunity. So I just jumped into a plane and came here.
So we go through here.
We had several briefing meetings because we needed to learn about St Martin's and what they did, and similarly they needed to understand about our organisation. So it was a great exchange of information, both face to face and an exchange of a lot of materials. And that way we both started to understand what our roles were and how we could develop this project.
So they flipped it out. We've learned about the Salvation Army through experience, so we visited different centers. We got to meet the people that work there, the people that go there for help.
I found out a lot through this project. Seeing the different community centers, volunteering with some drop-in lunches that they have, going to the life houses, meeting all these young people, and really having this personal connection with people that Salvation Army reaches.
The image of the Salvation Army completely changed. Like I thought, you know, it was purely to do with, you know, military veterans or elderly, and I had no idea the extent of everything they do.
The graduates also visited the Salvation Army Trading Company's recycling centre in Kettering.
Here in Kettering, we take in all of our clothes from around the country. The trailers are unloaded and then the product is separated so that we just concentrate on the clothing.
Around 32,000 tonnes of recycled clothing is processed here every year.
Once the product is separated, the clothes are repacked into export size packaging, reloaded onto export trucks and then sent overseas to our customers.
Operating under SATCOL, the Salvation Army's trading arm, the recycling business raises significant funds to support the work of the Army.
You find amazing things in these clothing bins. Beautiful copper things and silver things, so it must be fascinating to work there.
After completing their research, the graduates came up with a series of ideas, which they presented to the Salvation Army team.
So from these insights, we came up with 3 directions at the moment. One is called the network, which is based on that idea of that people know the name Salvation Army but don't really know actually what they do and how far it reaches. And so somewhere by just simply showing actually how the donation of their clothing links to more directions.
So our second idea was about measuring. So it's about equating the amount of clothing in the containers with the amount of work done by the Salvation Army and show that there is a direct connection between them.
So we had this idea of the person realising that their action of moving is starting a chain reaction. You know, their small contribution is triggering off emotion, which then obviously to something big. So one of the things we were keen on is to have some form of interaction and to tie in the sense of community and to, just bring people a bit closer to the process of donating clothes rather than just thinking of it, as a bin, they put their clothes and they never see it again.
From my perspective, I've been thoroughly impressed with the speed with which you got under the skin of the Salvation Army and our complexity and the brand, and actually come up with 3 very different ideas. I mean, they could all work.
Yes,
we would love to do all 3.
Yeah, we did ask that. Yes.
Yeah.
The idea finally chosen is called The Measure. The Measure makes a direct connection between the amount of donations put in the bin and the work that the Army can carry out as a result.
This one, I think, at the end of the day, brings everything together very nicely for us.
The ideas were then developed and refined over several sessions.
The idea is that we'd have these bands colour-coded to go through quarter full, half full, 3/4.
So basically you make a donation and you see this thing that says Light Up Alive.
Working with the students has been super, really fresh thinking, very innovative ideas, there are no boundaries, and it's just been a fantastic experience for us.
So every time you close the chutes, it will just trigger this little switch which will send a signal to the LED lights which will pop on. This experience has been amazing, and the client has been amazing. Just so open for us to, go everywhere and see everything, and it has been such a, I wish all projects were like this.
A small number of banks will feature an array of LEDs that will light up every time someone makes a donation.
We're designing the final layout. We're making a model to really show how the lights would work on the clothing bank and to get it all ready to go for people to actually produce.
Yeah, we're prototyping. We're building our models, ready for the presentation on Tuesday, and it's looking good.
Yay!
I never thought I'd be redesigning a donation bin or trying to make that into something quite creative. It's just been very interesting trying to take an object that already exists and transform it into something else whilst retaining the original purpose. So that's probably the biggest challenge.
The final presentation will show all the designs, and hopefully they like what we did. If not, we'll have to make some changes, but I think they'll be pleased.
So this is the concept of the infographics without the lights.
Really see. Yeah, I understand them. Yeah, they're quite clear. Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, so we discussed the idea of the lights and having the lights turn up when someone made a donation. And obviously here's where the graphics are going to be, so...
It looks good. It looks very professional, actually. It's got a warmth to it, but it does look very professional.
Making metal bins look a lot more interesting, isn't it?
A few weeks later, the prototype has been turned into the real thing. Sonia and Maya are completing the lights installation. Manuela has had to return to Argentina.
The project's been reasonably tough towards the end doing the production side of things, but I'm actually really glad we did it because it was really nice to see an idea come from just a hypothetical conversation with the Salvation Army to actually physically making it ourselves and then coming here today and seeing it in front of us and adding the finishing touches.
We know what they're supposed to communicate, but I'm very curious to see how other people will experience them and if they will understand what we mean with them and if they think it's fun to use. So I'm very looking forward to that moment, really.
The last 7 weeks have been actually producing it, and today is our last day. So as soon as the lights are fully in and working, it'll be the launch, and hopefully everyone will get to enjoy it in the public. Yay!
I think it's very interesting to bring kind of design into the world of charity organisations to collaborate and hopefully in the end help more people.
Is it working? I want to see! I just think it's going to feel really great when it's there in location, and I'm just really excited to see the response, and I hope everyone really enjoys it.
Well, we declare this clothing bank open.
Feels great. Yeah, it's finally here, the lights are working. I want to see some strangers using it, which would be really good.
Oh, it's so nice. It's really nice to see it actually as a physical object here. I feel now the rest needs to change as well because it's so alone in blue between all these green bins, but you know, one day.
I think it just stands out. It tells a story. It doesn't just say the charity about it. It's not just asking for something, it's kind of giving something back.
Oh, I think it fills one with a warm glow. Seeing everybody's work comes to fruition, and we're ready to accept donations.
This year, clothing recycling will raise nearly £10 million for the work of the Salvation Army.